4 days after the Cyclopes completed their living bronze palace atop Olympus, the 12 Olympian thrones stood arranged in a sweeping semicircle beneath a vaulted ceiling carved from translucent marble. Each throne, hewn from pure white stone and veined with gold, was positioned to reflect its occupant's domain. At the chamber's center, Hestia's hearth burned with an eternal flame, its light dancing across polished floors and symbolizing the unity of the council. Beyond the hearth, the floor gave way to Iris's causeway, a gently rising arc of prismatic tiles that refracted sunlight into a living rainbow. This corridor linked the inner council chamber to the outer halls, serving as both a literal and figurative bridge between the divine assembly and the wider world. To the east of the council chamber lay Hephaestus's forge annex, its massive doors opening onto a suite of glowing forges and quenching pools. Here, the Cyclopes tended hammer and anvil under Hephaestus's watchful eye, forging tools and weapons for gods and heroes alike. The annex was divided into specialized workshops, one for celestial armaments, thunderbolts, tridents, and helm of invisibility replicas, and another for everyday implements such as golden plowshares for Demeter and bronze scales for Hermes. The rhythmic clang of hammer on metal echoed through the halls, a constant reminder of divine craftsmanship now harnessed in service of an ordered pantheon rather than the capricious whims of Titan rule. Immediately north of the forge annex, Hera's private bedchamber offered a contrast of subdued luxury. Velvet drapes of deep peacock blue framed a canopy bed embroidered with peonies and peacocks, symbols of her sovereignty and watchful vigilance. Though richly adorned, the room's design prioritized both elegance and security. Bronze lattices reinforced the windows, and a discreet inner corridor allowed Hera direct access to the council chamber in moments of crisis. Across the hall, Demeter's grain granary stood as a monumental testament to abundance. Stacks of golden wheat and barley, harvested from fields consecrated by the grain goddess herself, were stored in tiered silos carved with reliefs of sheaves and plow teams. Channels beneath the granary floor led excess grain to polished bronze trays, ensuring that offerings of the first fruits could be distributed ritually to all who bore the gods' favor. 4 imposing gates guarded the palace's east and west entrances. Each gate was flanked by a pair of statues representing the Horae, Thallo, Oxo, and Carpo on the summer side, and their pairs Iar and Kratos on the winter side, personifying the orderly progression of the seasons. The gates themselves bore reliefs of budding vines, ripening fruit, and snow-laden branches, marking the transitions they protected. Above the southern gate, an inscription reminded all who passed that every oath sworn within these halls was witnessed by the river Styx. Below it, a narrow channel led to a bronze basin where guests could touch the consecrated water, binding their words under the god of unbreakable vows. Within these walls, the first divine legal system took shape. Themis, seated at a marble dais opposite Hestia's hearth, unrolled scrolls of bronze tablets that recorded each decree, law, and covenant. These tablets were displayed on ironwood shelves along the northern gallery, accessible only to authorized scribes and to Mnemosyne, whose perfect memory served as a living archive. Lighter offenses, broken oaths, disputes over sacred rites, challenges to Xenia, were heard in a smaller antechamber presided over by Dike, daughter of Themis. Her balanced judgments set precedents that would guide interactions among gods and mortals alike. As word of the new order spread, lesser deities and divine attendants petitioned for official roles within the palace. Eileithyia, goddess of childbirth, requested a chamber near Demeter's granary to oversee the cycle of life and harvest. Asclepius sought a quiet alcove off the western gallery for his healing shrines, and Anemoi, Boreas, Notus, Zephyrus and Eurus petitioned for voice in meteorological councils convened by their brother Zeus. Once petitions were reviewed, each petitioning deity received a scroll of appointment, sealed with the emblem of their sponsor god, formalizing their duties and privileges. Among the first to enact the new rituals of Olympus was Hebe, cupbearer to the gods. Clad in robes woven with the golden threads of ambrosia, she moved with graceful precision along the marble corridors, filling chalices from a crystalline urn of nectar and ambrosia. At midday, she presented the cup to each Olympian in turn, and the assembly paused to partake, reaffirming both hospitality and hierarchy. Nearby, the Charites, Aglaia, Euphrosyne and Thalia danced a gentle procession around Hestia's hearth during these libations, their laughter and song weaving an atmosphere of harmony and gratitude. The newly established order at Olympus stood in stark relief against the memory of Titan autocracy. Under Cronus, power had been seized through deception and maintained through fear. Now, governance was legitimized by covenant, witnessed by Hestia's flame and recorded by Themis's tablets. Each domain, sky, sea, underworld, and the commons of earth, was allocated by lot and sealed by oath, ensuring that authority could not be renewed by force alone. Even the Cyclopes, once prisoners of Tartarus, now toiled freely under divine mandate, their skill harnessed to reinforce rather than undermine cosmic balance. Yet the mortal world remained central to Olympus's purpose. Through Hermes's swift flights, news of the palace's construction and its new code reached temples and city-states below. Mortals established festivals in honor of the Olympian Council, weaving the divine seasonal calendar into their civic year. Farmers timed their sowing and reaping to the Horae's pronouncements, while sailors charted courses by Poseidon's regulated wind decrees. The integration of mortal and immortal law signaled a new era in which gods and humans shared an ordered, interdependent cosmos. In this season of formalization, one figure stepped forward with a request that would shape the next chapter of divine-mortal relations. Prometheus, ever the advocate for humankind, sought an audience with Zeus to discuss the proper forms of sacrifice and the allocation of sacred flames. He proposed a structured system in which each offering, whether grain, animal, or incense, would follow clearly defined rituals, ensuring that mortals could honor the gods faithfully and benefit from their favor. His petition underscored the evolving relationship between Olympus and the world below, suggesting that knowledge, like power, must be carefully administered to prevent chaos. As the sun set across the southern colonnade, Hestia's hearth burned steadily, its light illuminating the 12 thrones in silent testament to a new cosmic order. From the clash of hammer on anvil in the forge annex to the whispered vows at the Styx basin, every element of Mount Olympus now reflected a balance of authority, law, and hospitality. And at the threshold of ceremony, Prometheus prepared to ignite the flames of knowledge, setting the stage for episode 19, where the fire of wisdom would pass from gods to mortals in the form of the sacred spark.